Hi, I'm Avi Melamed, and I'm pleased to announce that I will be in the United States for my next lecture tour entitled The Middle East, a Smoking Volcano, a Fertile Land. The tour is scheduled to take place between March 10th and April 15th, 2011. These days, as I'm accepting reservations for speaking engagements, many people are intrigued by the title of my tour. Therefore, I would like to take the opportunity and to elaborate a little bit on that. During my previous lecture tour to the state, entitled The Minaret and the Satellite Dish, I was talking about the deep stream factors that change the region and impact its future. And indeed, since then, the Middle East is moving forward quite fast to a crucial junction. In Lebanon, north of Israel, or a sad place that I called in fact Syrian, meaning it's a state that is basically occupied in a remote control by Syria and Iran, vis-a-vis their proxy, the Hezbollah. Everybody is looking today anxiously with the outcomes of the international tribunal that is investigating the murder of the previous Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik al-Hariri. According to reports, the tribunal is going to put the blame on the Hezbollah. The Hezbollah on his side made it very clear that he's not going to stand for it. And as he said time and again, the Hezbollah promised to burn Lebanon down to the ground if that scenario is going to take place. But other factors in Lebanon basically made it very clear that they are not going to sit aside if the Hezbollah is going to realize his intimidations. A paper leaf that was only recently distributed in Lebanon is basically offering an interesting perspective on that possible upcoming collision between the different factors inside Lebanon. Who wrote that paper leaf? What's behind it? And what does it stand for? Interesting question. When you look at the axis known as the resistance axis, the one of which major components are Iran, Syria, and the Hezbollah, the one that stands for the non-compromising animosity towards the state of Israel. You could see a different picture. On the one hand, it is clearly an axis that leads a radical way. Unfortunately, it is very much capable today to dictate to a large extent the political agenda on the region. But when you look closer, you could see fractions. It is not a monolith. You could see basically the different interests, sometimes I would even say the opposite interests of the sides involved. A mysterious incident that took place in Italy a couple of months ago basically put light on the complexity of the relations between the Syrians and the Iranians, what happened there, and how it's related to this whole issue. An interesting speech that was made by Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, shortly before the elections to the Iranian presidency, was recently revealed, caused the rage of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard that are very much not happy with some contents of the speech that was made by Nasrallah, the leader of the Hezbollah. In fact, the biggest investment of the Iranians outside Iran. The Iranian president, Ahmadinejad himself, is leading an interesting line recently, also taking him on a track of possible collision with the Iranian Revolutionary Guards and even the Iranian spiritual leader. What is going over there inside the inner rooms of the Iranian's mullah regime, and how it relates to the whole events that takes place in the region? This is another interesting question. The tension is rising on different arenas. One of them is the virtual, cyber one. An e-jihad war is taking place in Egypt these days. What is e-jihad war? Who is involved in that? And what is the background of that war that takes place today, these very days in Egypt? I will gladly share with you with the information I received about that from sources inside Egypt. In Iraq, one of the most important Arab states that unfortunately is experiencing massive inner bloodshed and turbulences, a new scene of conflict is now rising. with the recent ordinance that was issued by the governor of Baghdad, the capital of Iraq, ordering to close down the nightclubs and bars scattered all around the Iraqi capital. That decision raises enormous tension between secular, to a large extent I would even say Western affiliated component in Iraq, and the other camp, including the Shiite clergy in Iraq, which basically support that ordinance. The Gulf states are petrified with the Iranian nuclear ambition, taking different kind of measures in order to prepare themselves, either to the day before or the day after. What are these measures, and how do they impact the geostrategic reality of the region? Meanwhile, in Yemen, a falling state indeed, where basically you could find radical factors and Al-Qaeda factors founding haven and heaven among the Sunni large tribe located in the south part of Yemen, while in the northern part of Yemen, the Houthiyyin, a Shiite tribe that was involved in a war against the Saudis in the summer of 2009, is now engaged in a domestic clashes with other Sunni tribes, Yemenite tribes. Both sides are massively armed, while the Shiite tribe is massively supported by the Iranian regime. And of course the Iranian issue and the Iranian regime pursue after a military nuclear capacity. Is the Iranian regime really interested in a military nuclear capacity? Where does it stand? How long would it take them? An interesting question that may surprise you. What is the connection between an Iranian nuclear possible military capacity and caviar? What is going on in a mosque called Junkeran, located next to the city of Qom, one of the most sacred cities in Iran? And how is it related and important to understand in the context of the Iranian nuclear ambition? These very days, the rise, the outcry of the students is continuing in Iran, and it seems like it's being escalating. Only recently something very interesting happened in Iran. In the last couple of days in the streets of Tehran and other cities in Iran, money bills with the profile of the Iranian spiritual leader Ali Khamenei were distributed. Next to the profile it was written in handwriting, "You are the germ." The outcry of the Iranian students is rising as sanctions on the Iranians are deepening, and the impact of the sanctions seems to be more and more effective. And the biggest question, of course, is how is it all going to impact Israel's geostrategic environment and the challenges that the state of Israel is facing today and in the visible future? And that brings me to the other part of my tour title, The Fertile Land. Because in spite of the challenges, and the challenges are huge and serious, I could also indicate hope. I could also indicate some potential deep stream factors that could offer a hope for that region. I could do that because I'm not only talking about the Arab world, I'm also talking with the Arab world, and I'm talking with Arab people from different parts of the Arab world. And I will be more than happy to share with you the interesting voices that comes out from the Arab world, because the picture is a multi-layered one. And I hope that we will have the opportunity to get together during my upcoming lecture to the United States. I'll be more than happy to speak for your communities or your organization. I'm Avi Melamed, and I want to thank you for your time and to wish you all the best.